Namaste and welcome to Spiritual Alignment Podcast. This is Shakti Sharma and Mitesh Kabharia. We are the co founders of Spiritual Alignment brand, welcoming you to a brand new episode of a live conversation. We're here to talk about transformation fueled by your thoughts. And Mitesh, I would love for you to share with us and our audience why does this matter? Why paying attention to thoughts matter, and how does that lead to a whole new transformation?
Thank you, Shakti. And I want to just start by saying last time we spoke around the topic of transformation, we highlighted one thing, which is that in order for transformation to occur, one identity has to die in order for it to transform into another identity. And what this means is that the old identity, whatever that old identity is, has to have this death in a way that is fueled by, like, why does that death need to happen in the first place? Well, maybe there is a space of where you might be in terms of your career or in terms of your relationship, in terms of your overall state in life or your finances or health or whatever it is. It constantly has these thoughts that play with it, that bring it down into that state. And in order for that you to make that jump, those thoughts have to transform completely. Because the fact is that we have about 6,000 to 8,000 thoughts a day. And many of those thoughts are repeated over and over and over and over again. And my estimate is that we probably have 10 thoughts that are just on repeat every single day. And let's say if you're in a space that you're not happy with or you're discontent with, those thoughts could be something like, oh, you made a mistake. Oh, you did it again. Oh, you're never going to make this. Oh, people hate you. Oh, you're a victim. And they just keep getting it and repeated and repeated. And the key here is that taking yourself out of that repetition, you have to make that choice at some point to break that pattern and saying, all right, I'm going to take a leap in my own consciousness, in my own ability to have different thoughts that play, which are empowering, which reinforce this new state, this place that you want to be in versus where you feel stuck.
Wow, 6,000 to 8,000 thoughts a day. That blows my mind. And there are only maybe 10 core thoughts that keep playing on this autopilot loop, keeping me fully consumed and not giving me a chance to step away from this and to be able to choose what thoughts do I really want. Wow, that blows my mind. And it's like almost like having a garden, right? But you don't know it's a garden, and you don't know you can plant things that you like in that garden, the flowers, right? The herbs, the beautiful plants. I don't need to have all this
These
weeds. These weeds in my garden just keep propagating themselves and taking over my whole garden. This is so powerful, Mitesh.
Yeah, I mean, I love that analogy.
It just came.
of like, you're tending to your garden, and how, if you are a gardener, it takes a little bit of effort, to water it every day, to, fertilize it, to have nutrients be in the soil, composting, whatever that is. You have to take some daily maintenance around it. And that's the key with your thoughts as well. If you just let it be and let these thoughts run on autopilot, it's not going to go anywhere without you taking that tending to it and taking care of it. So
Right.
Thank you for bringing that. I really like that analogy.
It's just, you're very welcome. I want to ask you, Mitesh, how do we go from this point where someone might be, overtaken and consumed by these autopilot thoughts, from getting from here to getting to the point where, wait, I can choose my thoughts? Like, how does someone take this like mini journey, forget about what they want to choose, but even to get to the realization that, wait a minute, there is a choice available to me?
Yeah, and that's the first step into getting into your power, is recognizing you have that power. We don't just think our thoughts, but we attract our thoughts. Our mind is a constant flow. If you take just for a moment and you step back and you get into this witness state of your thoughts, you'll just see, let's just like a ticker reel on, of like stock symbols going, or like news clippets going on TV, just flowing across your mind all the time, like these little thoughts going across. And to step into your own power is to say, okay, wait, I have a choice as to what I want to have here. And it's your state of consciousness, your vibration, the place that you're standing in beyond your thoughts, what's going to call in your thoughts. And a simple example here is that, you know your birthday is coming up and you're excited about it, and you start bringing in and calling in these thoughts about what are the exciting things you're going to do, who you're going to celebrate it with, and so on and so forth. Similarly, if you have
The dress.
yeah, the dress, exactly. Which dress is going to be the highlight and the one that you can post on Instagram and show your fabulous self to the world. And similarly, if you have a situation where you're not looking forward to, your vibration is low, you're kind of stuck in a place, and then these thoughts will come magnetized to you. So it's very important, first of all, to take note of what your vibration is. Where are you in this beginning state? Because if you don't know where you are, you won't know where to actually go to, or to get to, or to at least take a step where it can be helpful for you. So that's the first step, is that awareness of where are you in this journey, and what are the thoughts you're constantly bringing towards you in this moment. And once you have that, there has to be a place of acceptance. The biggest mistake I see people engage in is that they try to push away their thoughts rather than redirecting their thoughts. Right? So anytime you offer resistance to something, it's just like this image that comes to my mind where, there's a wall and then there's leaks in different parts of the wall, and you put one hand here and then you put another hand here, you put your foot here, and you try to stop all the leaks, but it's just a lot of resistance. So instead of that, maybe you allow that water to collect and be channeled somewhere else, versus trying to stop it all. And same thing with your thoughts, is accepting and saying, oh, okay, I am in a place where I am calling in all these thoughts, these nonsense thoughts, or whatever it is. You don't have to be judgmental with it, but whatever it is, I'm calling in these thoughts. And I want to make a choice to change whatever those thoughts are. And that's the first place to step. So finding that sense of awareness around it, very key. That's where the mindfulness practice comes into help and handy, is that you start to question, what are these thoughts? Where are they coming from? What's going on? And then the second part is the acceptance piece of it. And once you accept it, now that's when your choice can come in, and saying, how do I want to choose? And there are ways you can do that, and we'll can go into that as well.
Yeah, I think this is such a key, Mitesh, that you kind of brought together, because like working with clients too, like I know that, and myself, right, the biggest piece of work is our own selves. What we resist persists the most for us. So when we try to resist these thoughts, they're going to actually amplify because we're somehow believing in them. Some part of us is believing in those thoughts, and that just creates more of an amplification. And I also want to bring forward this like nugget I think we talked about in that last episode around transformation. Well, one of the first indicator that we need transformation, or we can benefit from a transformation, is how are you feeling any level of discontentment? If you want to step up and lead a project, what is the level of contentment that you feel in that? And if the level of contentment isn't there for you, maybe it's time to sit down and lay out what are these thoughts that are affecting the project and your leadership, right? And to take a stock of it from the place of that awareness and from the place of acceptance, because now Mitesh has shared with the world, you can choose your thoughts. It's not just this like victimhood. You're not only on the receiving end of these thoughts, you actually can command, you can choose what is it that you want to have in your mind.
Yeah, and that's the first step of empowerment, really, is you, when you realize you have the choice, it's much easier to exercise it. And
Yeah.
Who wouldn't want to? I mean, of course, you can be bombarded by a lot of different thoughts, and sometimes even if you want to step out of it, it's hard to do that because it's built up such a train of thoughts that you have to figure out, how do I get out of it? And there's a couple of ways I want to put forth for folks. Is that one easy way is, you probably heard of this, is you are likely a product of the company that you keep. The 5 people that they typically say. So if you're finding that you're surrounding yourself with folks who share a lot of the similar thoughts that you don't want to have, but you are having, then it's likely that that's playing a factor. Just not even with other people around you, but internally, all these 6,000 thoughts that are happening. These 10 different pieces, or these 10 different thoughts that are constantly repeated, are like different voices. And you just kind of step that out further into your outside world, and those voices are actually human voices. And so if you can take stock of that and saying, okay, well, who am I really hanging out with right now? Who are the people that are in my life? So one, you can shift that, or 2 is, first of all, once again, be aware of it, and then saying, okay, I'm going to make a choice to not let this noise affect me in a way. And the other part here is that, so you can physically change the things around you, but there's also ways of just recognize, well, when a thought is so powerful,
Right.
how do you stop a moving train?
Right.
That is, and you're just kind of standing on this track, and you see this moving train coming towards you at full speed. You're going to be bowled over rather quickly. So the first thing is that, all right, just with that acceptance, saying, okay, I'm having these thoughts. You can find a way, instead of trying to stop those thoughts, is to get into a place where your mind is really just a thought receiver. So you have to find a way for your mind to be engaged in something that's going to subside those thoughts. And one way, there's a couple of ways. So you can do it by music, by singing, by meditation, even just chanting a mantra or a sound, whether it's om or ah or whatever it is, just making that sound, or even just breathing. It's very difficult for thoughts to flow so strongly when you are engaged in those things, and really bringing yourself fully present in those things. And that's the challenge here, is that you can put some music on, but it's once again, you making that choice is saying, all right, I want my mind to engage in this music. I want to fully immerse myself in this music. I want to fully immerse myself into this song or chant or whatever it is. And it takes about 30 seconds.
Wow.
When you actually make that choice, it won't happen right away, but there's going to be this transition period where these thoughts are flowing. You put on some music, you just take a breath, a couple of deep breaths in, and that breath automatically allows that train, almost puts the brakes on those trains for a bit and kind of makes it turn away from you versus kind of hitting you. And that's the key, is it doesn't have to be this rigorous, beating yourself up and saying, I'm going to think this, I'm going to think that, because like we said, the more you fight it, the more it's going to persist.
Right. Wow. Okay. Wow. Thank you. So I guess what you're saying is that choose your company wisely.
Just like how I have this wonderful company next to me of, you find people that really resonate. And it's more about redirection versus resistance.
Yeah. I mean, and then that's a big piece, Mitesh, because culturally, and as a society, we must connect with these people, whether it's our family, whether it's our high school friends, kindergarten friends. And sometimes we don't even believe that we have the choice available to connect with people who are resonating at the vibration, who are at a vibration where we want to be, and understand what they're thinking, how they're carrying themselves, and to be able to engage with them in those conversations that are helpful to us, that are helpful to them, I think is a really key. And I think we're all, on this planet Earth, we're all moving towards finding that soul tribe, finding that soul family, finding this like group of people, community where we're in resonance, we're in alignment with them vibrationally. And second thing, what you suggest is really coming to a place of resetting the mind, where you may be bombarded by all these thoughts. They may be running on autopilot in your mind, but there are ways to reset that and bring your mind to a space of thoughtlessness, where you can actually have a chance now, once that stream is broken, you have a chance to really take a stock of what is happening. And that from that place, the choice emerges, right?
Yes, and that's the key, is once you allow that thought train to just pause for a moment and redirect itself, now whatever thought you choose or whatever vibration you choose is going to bring in more of those others. And you've already done most of the work at that point.
Right.
When you're in that place of, okay, this thought pattern has stopped, where do I go with this next? Now, anything that you choose is going to be more beneficial for you anyway. And yeah, it's, when it comes to people, whoever is not in alignment with your thoughts, they're naturally going to fall away. And so you don't necessarily have to push away people forcefully and kick them out of your house or something like that. But, when you carry a different vibration, either they have a choice to meet you there,
Right.
which is great, because once again, you are their group, their tribe in a way. So when you raise yours, sometimes, not always, but
Right.
sometimes they raise their vibration.
Right.
Or they decide to not connect with you as much, which is also a benefit in a way, because if they're not in alignment and they're choosing not to step into this new vibration that you're carrying, then they'll just fall away naturally. And I completely am blessed that with our interaction, that over the years that we've known each other, we've taken steps at different times. And if I've taken a step, you've met me there. If you've taken a step, I've met you there. And or we're in the dumps together and we're just like, we're like, where the heck are we going now with this? But then somebody takes that initiative, you or I, and then we take a step up and we help each other throughout that process. So, for the partners or the couples or those of you who are working in this group, you can help each other out in this process too, and that's going to be uh, a game changer, especially when it comes to transformation. Because let's face it, transformation is not going to be easy. But when you have a wonderful partner or wonderful people to support you in this process, it's going to be helpful. And say if you don't have anybody at all, that's where sometimes a coach or a mentor or somebody who has your back, somebody who's
Right.
helping you to see the best version of you can come in and step in and really be that support system for you. And so don't feel like that's something that's not available to you, because that is. And I've seen it work many times myself as a coach, but also in the receiving end from being somebody who gets coached or mentored. So I put that out there because I feel like sometimes it's hard to find people.
And sometimes it's also hard to believe, kind of give ourselves that permission slip that you can choose, and having someone who can neutrally share these options with you. Well, do you resonate with this? Do you resonate with that? Who can help you kind of pull back from this like train, this loop of thoughts, and help you understand, well, there might be beliefs underneath it, right? There might be core beliefs affecting and generating more of these thoughts. And is there a place to actually look at those beliefs in a neutral way and say, well, yeah, I resonate with this, but maybe not this anymore, and maybe I'm okay letting this go, right? I think that's such an important uh, part of working through the thought process here, to be able to choose which beliefs are in resonance with you.
Yeah, and I'll leave that as a final thought in a way that this thought transformation or transforming your thoughts is really your choice, and you have the power to choose. And we've shared some ways in which you can redirect, you can find acceptance around it, pause, breathe, music, whatever it is. There are ways in which you can work through this, and we know that you can do this. It's possible. You're not stuck. If you feel like you're stuck, it's just, once again, a vibration, a thought pattern that you keep bringing to yourself. So just, we want to offer that to you, or at least I want to offer that to you, is saying that you have that ability to choose a better feeling thought. And when you do that, you're automatically taking a step in that direction of where you want to go.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Mitesh, for sharing these gems today. Very helpful. And I think it allows me, and I know a lot of people who will be watching this later, listening to this conversation later, may find a very unique perspective, because we go through our life almost on this autopilot without realizing, wait a minute, actually I can do something about it. I can bring a change for myself. So really appreciate you being here today and sharing these gems of wisdom. And how can people contact you, Mitesh, if people want to work with you, reach out to you?
Right. So on the Spiritual Alignment website, spiritualalignment.com, you can find me, or you can send an email at mitesh@spiritualalignment.com, or even contact@spiritualalignment.com. So many different ways to find us, find me, find Shakti, and we're happy to help wherever we can.
Yeah, and I want to add that we would love to get to know you, connect with you, have you our free Facebook group. We have a intimate community on Facebook, and also we offer a lot of events. A lot of them are free, a lot of them are paid workshops, but we would love to get to know you and connect with the community where we can all come together, because we are really on a mission of creating our soul family, creating this tribe that is rock solid. We understand each other, we are authentic with each other, we have each other's backs, and we can all kind of come together in that space of oneness and unity where there's really no judgment, no right or wrong. It's just connection from that one point in the heart to the other point in that somebody else's heart. So that is really what we're trying to do here, and we would love for you to be part of our community.